Hi, it's Ileana. So today we're going back to the shadow aspect. The shadow aspect is a form of us. It is a subconsciousness that has something to say. It has something to figure out and to work out internally with us. It's like having a conversation with your deepest inner self, a reflection, a mirror reflection to look at something deep inside the soul. It's almost like talk therapy. It's soul wisdom coming to the forefront where we can have that internal dialogue with ourselves, especially with ourselves, and figure out what we want to deal with. We can choose this. We can set up those questions. And if you're having troubles with your neighbor, say there's a noise issue or they're doing something that's making you uncomfortable, this is where you could reach out to the soul of your neighbor and have that discussion with them on the higher planes of existence where it's safe. You can ask them, why are you being noisy? Why is this happening? And could you please turn down the noise? And I'm trying to get some sleep. Even something as simple as that, going to the higher soul aspect of that neighbor and talking to them on the 4D, the 5D level. And then once you're physically in the realm of 3D, if you still need to talk to that neighbor, it's much easier because you've already done the hard work on 4D, 5D, and you've de-escalated potentially any hard feelings, any bad energy that you were feeling about the situation with your neighbor for whatever reason. That internal self-dialogue with yourself, then the connection to that other neighbor's soul. And when you're having the internal dialogue with yourself, you can always ask, why is this noise bothering me? What's it about the noise? Is it something that they're doing too early in the morning? Is it something they're doing in the evening that's bothering you? What's going on? You're working out all the puzzle pieces of what's bothering you with the neighbor, why it's bothering you. You can't sleep, it's irritating, they're saying something inappropriate, they're doing something inappropriate. You're working all of that out internally so that it's not going to explode externally. It's not going to create drama. It's not going to create chaos. It's not going to create an explosion when you actually go to physically talk with the neighbor. If you even have to go at all. Sometimes when you work things out on the soul level with someone, that works itself out. You don't even have to talk to them physically anymore because you reached their higher soul and you both worked it out to your satisfaction. And sometimes you're just having that internal dialogue with yourself to work out something with that mirror image of yourself that you're not satisfied with or haven't completely understood why you're feeling the way you were. Things in the subconsciousness holds memory of what we're going through in the physicality, the inner world and the outer world, the personality that is internal and the personality that is external. Both are interconnected and both have something to say to each other. They communicate with each other. It's an internal communication process of togetherness, but when you're working on that subconsciousness level, you are really seeing the bigger picture, the 360-degree picture of who you are. So the shadow work gives you a chance to go deep within, have a look at what is really going on in the soul capacity level on that particular level. If you're feeling very uncomfortable and you can't admit something to yourself in the physical world, you're able to admit that in the shadow world, in the shadow self aspect of who you are. The shadow self, again, it's not a dark place if you choose not to make it one. If you choose to make it a place of enlightenment, if you choose to make it a place of, I want to know more about myself, I want to know how to solve problems, how to peacefully figure things out and coexist with myself, all the aspects of myself, the comfortable ones and the uncomfortable ones. If you make a decision to approach it the right way, it doesn't have to be a place that is toxic where you go. It could be a place of safety that offers you a chance to actually make something right with yourself. Work it out so that the heavy energy is no longer festering within your soul. Not the anger, not the frustration, not the pain. You work all that out on the shadow aspect when working with the mirror shadow self. It's like going to a talk therapy session, but not with a psychologist, with yourself. Your pragmatic self, your inner self, the self that knows all the truth about you, that's part of the shadow aspect of you that knows the full reality on the subconsciousness of what you're dealing with. And it can help you to deal with that stuff because it has all the highlights, all the high points, all the low points on all the spectrums of your existence. It stores those points in the subconsciousness for you to deal with it. If you choose to be brave enough to access all those points of memory. It's like a mini little Akashic record of what's going on with you, the problem aspects of what's going on, the life situations, the energies, the emotions of how you're feeling, what you're processing. The physical aspect of that stuff that you're feeling, internally, it's all being cataloged in its proper sequence of events. How a problem started, beginning, middle, and end points, and resolutions and solutions in between those points. You can see those highlights for resolution if you choose to look at it from a 360-degree angle at all the options, the clarity of why you're experiencing these things and how to work through them, how to release the negative energies, the blockages, the karma, seeing all those aspects to work it through and move beyond it so that it no longer physically affects you or impacts you in the physical world. There's no more drama. There's no more chaos. There's no more explosions, no anger. All that out works itself internally. So there's no explosives going to the physical world of what was triggering you before. Because what the triggers were, you work that out internally with yourself by talking to yourself. What's the problem? What's the solution? Why am I feeling this way? What caused this in the first place? Sometimes we don't really even understand why something happened the way it is until we talk to our most inner, wisest self internally. That's the shadow work that we're doing. We are looking at the problem. We're looking at all the intricacies. We're looking at all the options for resolutions and balancing that energy out, anchoring it, grounding it, so that it is in its most purest form when it's worked out and no longer feeling heavy, no longer festering in the inner self. All that stuff, the heaviness of the energies, it's worked out and released. It's called soul release. Releasing the inner angst of what was bothering you, through that shadow work. That's why it's called shadow work, because it's an internal mirror of yourself. The light aspects, the dark aspects, the good ones, the bad ones, again, those are all labels. When you're doing the internal work, you work all of that out. The negative aspects, the positive aspects, all that is integrated, looked at, figured out, and balanced. The key word is balance. Positive polarity field, going from the negative to the positive when you do the shadow work. So when you come out from that inner self introspection, internal dialogues, working it out, you feel lighter. You feel refreshed. You're no longer angry, frustrated, and you're no longer having these questions of why you had this issue in the first place, because you've gotten the answers and resolutions through doing the shadow work. That's what's supposed to happen when you complete the shadow work. Get the answers, feel lighter, feel healthier, and just more vibrant, and no longer having explosives coming out of you, or explosions, or potential explosions, as you don't need to go and deal with people who are toxic. You worked out that toxicity internally, so it does not come out externally and does not make itself reappear again to you physically. That's also part of doing the shadow work, working out anything that's toxic, that's been on your mind for a long time, that's just been sitting there internally and externally as well, bothering you. Those things are worked out because you're being very truthful to yourself. You're being very honest with yourself and others, as well as the people you're dealing with on the subconscious level when you are talking to them in the 4D and the 5D on the soul aspects. You're bringing forward all the truth, all the grievances, all the problems, the pains, the issues. You're bringing all of that forward in the subconsciousness to work on it, so you don't take it back with you when you go back to the physical world. Those energies are cleansed, purified, and released. They're not coming back with you. They're not supposed to. And if they do, you have some more shadow work to do. Sometimes things are very complex. They could be complex and complicated, and sometimes we do go back in to work more on that stuff to release it if it's complicated. Sometimes I go back more than once to figure it out, and it helps me to feel healthier and lighter, and it helps me to also feel that I have more energy, because I'm not focusing on that heavy stuff anymore. I'm releasing it, whether quickly or sometimes slower, depends on the situation, but it does get soul release at the end. And it's really helpful because it helps us to not obsess and dwell on that problem stuff anymore, because the problems are released internally by going in deep into the subconsciousness and working it out with yourself and the others, whoever's involved in what you're dealing with. You work that out and you no longer come back with that same issue. It's like the most deepest point of introspection and perception of what's going on in reality. Introspection and perception and perspective. You're getting your highest truth, your most honest truth in your inner self when you do that shadow work. You're getting everything figured out. The key words is honesty, truth, and respect for yourself, and having the confidence to go in, feel safe, to do the work, to do this inner work, because it reflects what happens in your outer world once it's all done. You say your honest truth to yourself, you share what you need to share with yourself, and you create a better world for yourself internally and externally by doing this type of work. You're balancing out everything on the scales: justice, peace, happiness, tranquility, emotional balance, physical health, satisfaction with yourself and others. You're balancing all that out and working it out to its highest complete satisfaction, to the highest degree that you can, for your own well-being, happiness, and success in life, on the subconsciousness and on the physicality. As above, so below. You're working with those energies on 4D and 5D aspects of yourself. You're having that perspective of who you are, who you were before, and who you'll be in the future. You're seeing all possibilities of yourself and how things are being resolved for your highest good when doing that shadow work. You can see many possibilities, many of those realities and option outcomes when you're working something out on the internal subconsciousness, on the shadow self. You will even be provided many options for the outcomes to see which path, which road is the best for you, in the options to explore and how you find resolution for something. Perspective, introspection, inspection. That's part of the shadow work as well. Seeing those many possibilities, those many outcomes to your resolution, it offers you a chance to see which is the best option or options for you to choose that on the subconsciousness, to make that final decision of what you need to do for your best outcome, of the very best decision-making skills that you can do through that shadow work as well. Best outcome scenarios, best outcome that you get. That's what you also receive when doing the shadow work. Options to explore and which resolution you choose from those options and pathways and roads of possibilities and potentials. You get to explore your inner self, the true I am factor that is you. That is also part of the shadow work. This is your inner self dialogue at its most primal aspects of being truthful with yourself, to yourself, and with yourself and others. It is the highest frequency of working with the light and the dark to balance it all out at its highest capacity. So it's helping you to feel lighter, to feel better, and to see yourself in your highest light at the end of this process. So you feel good about yourself. You're not carrying those dark negative frequencies anymore. And you're asking yourself all the questions. When, why, who, what? You're allowed to ask yourself all those questions and much more, to dig deep and have this chance to work it out with yourself, internally and externally, the inner world and the outer world. Both are very much reflected as part of doing this work, the shadow work. And it's self-work, very important work to do, because you're working it out with yourself. You're creating resolutions, agreements with yourself, not anybody else. Sometimes there is somebody else if you're dealing with an aspect of another person's soul. But for the most part, is just you working something out with yourself on the deepest levels that you're reaching in your subconsciousness and the soul aspect that is you. The shadow aspects of ourselves hold the memories of what happened in these negative or not so positive situations, and it allows you to go back into the memories, to explore them, to zoom in and see them at a deeper perspective, because the memory is being held in there. So you can have a look at it. If it happened in the past and you need soul release, you need almost like a little bit of a soul retrieval to get back the missing pieces and to reintegrate that into yourself in a more positive light. That gives you the opportunity to go in there in a past situation, because The subconsciousness holds the memories of the events of what happened. It holds that in the shadow self aspect of you, allowing you to go back to purify the energy and the frequency of the stuff not going right, what went wrong, to balance it out so it does get healed and balanced and grounded, so it's no longer feeling wrong, but now healed and feeling right as an energy frequency, and it's ready to literally, in its purified form, reintegrate with you. So you're not feeling broken, you're not feeling detached from yourself. When that healed aspect of yourself goes back within yourself now, in this time frame, healed, no longer damaged, broken, or feeling fragmented. That aspect of shadow work can also help with the healing of emotions, of energies, of frequencies, even physical pain, going back into that point when the trauma happened and releasing the trauma. I release all trauma. I release all pain. I forgive myself. I forgive others. I am dealing with the pain. This is the I am, working with the I am aspect in that past situation, moment in time, releasing it to its highest capacity and degree, to feel better, to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel noticed and appreciated for who you are as a soul being. This is what you can work out as well. At any point in time of reference in your life, this can be in past lives, present lifetime, future lifetime. In the shadow work, you can go back and work at it at any point you need to. You can access any point in your life to work on this at any time you need or feel like you want to work things out and have a resolution that is positive, to release those negative energies and to be able to see what happened on a deeper perspective for you and with you, and have that moment of clarity that you need for soul happiness and physical health and well-being. In a way, it's almost like we get to act out the scene or reenact it to see potentials and outcomes and results of what we're going through or went through, to go through it step by step in the scene. We are the actors in it, having a look at everything, at every point that happened. We're getting to experience an aspect of reality that we might have missed in the physicality when we are in the unconscious aspects of ourselves, having a look at the scene and figuring out what happened there, why it happened, what's the reason, what's the life lessons, what's the mission, why, when, how. We can ask all of those questions internally as we're seeing the scenes, as we're enacting them or reenacting them, to connect with all the points, the highlights of what we're working through, how we're doing it, and what's the points of experience. What's the expectations for the resolution? What are the options here? What are the best options of exploring the path of happiness, resolution, outcomes? What are the best outcomes that we can reach while examining these reenactments or enactments? Do we want to fully participate while we're there looking at these things and working it out? Or do we want to be looking at it from a neutral perspective? What's safest for us when we're doing this work? How comfortable do you feel doing it? Because you can approach it from many different ways, whatever works best for you. Either being a full participant in the work, totally being in the work when you're enacting it or reenacting it, or being a neutral observer, seeing what happened and the outcomes for that resolution. You can choose either or a combination of both. That is totally up to you when you're doing that type of work internally. Internal resolution for external success and good outcomes. It's the inner work of the highest soul capacity that you can reach by doing these enactments, reenactments, going through the scenes, examining everything, seeing what can help you to be at your best self, what can help you to resolve problems peacefully with good outcomes and good choice-making decision-making abilities. Those are the keys that you're given when doing the shadow work. What can be the best decision that I can make here? The best choices. You get to go in, examine that, look at it, work it out, figure it out, and do what's the best thing and the most right thing for you with this type of work. This is also energetic manifestation, where you have a chance to create positive outcomes and manifest positive opportunities, goal setting for yourself, to create something for your present and your future. If you want to add in that kind of manifestation to it, you can, because you're working with your soul energy. You can add that in. I want to find a better job that does not have toxic employees or a toxic environment in my work life, where I have good hours, I get enough sleep, I get a full night's sleep, I'm satisfied and happy with the work that I do. It's rewarding, it fulfills my life goals, my life mission, it provides me happiness and financial success. If that's something you want to set into that, if you're trying to find a better job, better work, not have a toxic environment in your workplace, you can set a goal to do that, for example. Or if it's something else, you can create some other positive manifestation in the shadow aspect of yourself when you're looking for positive outcomes and resolutions to whatever you're working on, to find that comfort zone, to find that happy space, that happy place that you're creating for yourself, because you're creating energetically with your soul aspect. You're creating something, you're working out something, you're working on something. That's manifestation with the energetics, with the frequencies of working with your I am, with yourself on the subconsciousness level to make it happen consciously in your waking physical world. The energetic manifestation that we're doing through our subconsciousness, going into the physical world, what we're creating, these are not scenarios. These are actual possibilities of opportunities and outcomes that can happen in the physical world. We can create with as much detail as we want. Going down, for example, if you can't find a place to live that's good, you can't find a house, you need to buy a house, you want to buy a house, you want to live in the house, you want to work in your home, you want to choose a good, healthy environment to live in. Your neighborhood, does it have a good microclimate with living by the ocean, good weather, good fresh air? How big is your home going to be? Will it have 7 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms? Will it have 2 offices? Will it be a quiet neighborhood with good neighbors? You're going to be by the beach, 5 minutes walk, so you can work from home in your safe, quiet office space and have a nice big bedroom to sleep in, that you're comfortable. You can set the lighting, you can set the mood in your home. Those are all things you can create with that energetic manifestation. Put as much positive detail as you can into what you're visually creating with this type of manifestation in your subconsciousness. So you're making it from the energy into this physical reality. You're literally creating energetically to physicality what you are creating in your physical world. This is what you do through this manifestation. Again, be as detailed and creative as you can be with what you want. Seriously, what do you want to create, accomplish, and manifest? That's what you're working on the subconsciousness into the consciousness world. You're bringing in that energy, working with that energy, you're molding it into physical creation of the physical aspects in your world of what you want your reality, of what you want that reality to be, your reality. That is the manifestation of the most positive light, the most positive creation of what we create and make for ourselves. If we're doing something negative, we create that negativity in the physical world. If we're creating something positive with good possibilities and outcomes, we create a very, very positive reality for ourselves. What we want our world to be is actually what we can create in it for our timeline, for our health, prosperity, success, happiness, and with those around us as well. We can wish good things for others in this type of manifestation to help others, as long as we're doing it from the highest good and the highest positive outcomes. That is what this manifestation could also do for us and with us. The clarity of detail and creativity in manifestation and balance of energy is very important. That you can do the manifestation where you're feeling safe in a quiet space, in a comfortable space where nobody's bothering you, where nobody's interrupting you to do that manifestation and the shadow work. And you can do the shadow work first to clear things that you need to clear from your soul field and your physicality. Then you can do the manifestation when things have been cleared, balanced, anchored, and grounded. Then go to do this manifestation. When you worked things out and externally, internally, all of it has been balanced. The scales have all been balanced. Then do the inner work manifestation once you worked out the shadow self aspects within and also seeing results externally with this. Then do that manifestation. You can do it right afterwards, after you've cleared the shadow work stuff, or you can wait a few days to do the manifestation. See how you feel internally. That internal aspect, look within what you're comfortable with and how the energy frequencies are looking and feeling for you. You can do muscle testing, you can do the pendulum exercises to see how the energy is working for you and what to do once the shadow work has been done, to see the timing and the creation of this manifestation and how you want it to look. Give as much detail and degrees of what you want and the outcomes. Go into as much depth and clarity and detail as you can, all the way down to the colors of the walls in your home, how big the home is, how big the land is, what the floors are like. Is it vinyl? Is it hardwood? Is it carpet? How big the kitchen is, how big the rooms are. Do you want the rooms to be square? How many windows and light you want in your space? All the details. It's like a roadmap that you're visually creating for your successful manifestation, outcomes, opportunities, and possibilities. You're literally drawing a vision board of what you want in creation, in your imagination and manifestation. We're using our creatively visual imagination to create our physical reality through this type of manifestation. Be as creative as you can, as colorful as you can. Be the architect of your own life designs, literally. Paint it, visualize it, make it happen. From energy to physicality, that's your highest manifestation abilities to work with and create on all levels of reality and existences. As creators, we're not limited by anything. We do not have restrictions when working with energy to make it come into reality, into our physicalities. This is what we're working with, these abilities and possibilities. Again, create, use creation, manifestation, work with it to its highest degree and potential, to your highest abilities to achieve and accomplish what you want to make and create in your lifetimes, to their most highest outcomes and positive endeavors that you're doing in your life, to the most positive perspective of what you're creating, because you're creating positivity, you're creating success, you're building something for your highest good with your highest abilities of what you can create in physicality by working with positive energies for your ultimate soul creation in your life. It's literally molding the possibilities of creation to its ultimate outcomes of these possibilities and creations. It's your highest form of self-expression with your creativity, with your abilities, and how you work with these energies to make the outcomes that you want to happen in your life to its highest positivity, to its highest goodness, to its highest creation, using our beautiful imagination with that creativity of what we bring in energetically into these physicalities of our realities. This is a form of step-by-step planning out and mapping out your desires, your wants, your needs in the manifestation in a very positive way to create your divine creations in planning out your future, your present, and even resolving things in the past. It's a way of doing active manifestation that is for your highest good and well-being and healing by visualizing things from a perspective of 360 degrees where you see everything visually in creation, in the creation of what you're making happen on the energetic scale and what you're putting in physicality-wise in your physical existence. It is your ultimate and highest creation of creativity, of productivity, of making happen what you want to see in your existence, in your reality, in your timeline, in a positive way, in a positive light. You're making happen what you want to take flight, literally. You are the architect of your own beautiful creation in your life's examination and outcomes. You hold that frequency of the I am creator within you, and that makes anything possible that you want to create, that you want to have in creation and create in your reality. Those are your abilities to your highest potential extension. Work with it, use it, make it happen, make it so. And so it is. It's created in your reality. Use your highest imagination, creation, visualization, processing to create the ultimate thing that you want in your dreams, in your hopes, in your happinesses, for yourself and for others. It's beautiful creation with life's beautiful imagination. Plan it out, act it out, imagine it, visualize it, create it, send it out there energetically into the physicality. Ask the universe for help when you need it. God, source creator, your highest form of your higher self, your teams, your guides, your archangels or angels, whoever your positive teams are, your protectors, you can ask them for help with any of this shadow work and manifestation. As long as it's coming from the most positive aspect of asking for help, it's there. Again, plan it out, map it out, roadmap it, make it happen, go out there, create to your highest abilities and potentials, have fun with it, create what you really want in your life with sincerity, with honesty and respect to who you are in reality and what you want to make happen in your life. Your most highest truth in what you create. Because what you create is the results that you get. If you create with the most sincerity, love, intuition, creativity, you put your heart into it, you put your soul into it, you have good energy, you will get that creation to its highest form and degree of what you're making. As long as you have that positivity, you can create whatever you want in life and have a beautiful, positive outcome from it, from this experience. I hope that you get to experience enjoyment, joy, and beauty in what you create, in the positive results of your manifestations, that it is all that you ever dreamed and wanted and fulfilled in your active manifestation for your creativity and your creation in this lifetime. That is the goal here, and that you have beautiful outcomes and results that you want and hoped for in your beautiful creations. There is also happiness, satisfaction, and fulfillment in what you accomplished and created, that you're happy with what was made and created, that it's successful, that you like what was done and what you were able to achieve with positive, active manifestation for your life success, for your goals, for whatever you wanted to make and create, that there's satisfaction, that there is happiness, and that you are grounded and fulfilled with what was made. Because ultimately, it's your happiness that is most important here in what you're doing, creating, manifesting, that you feel good with it at the end of the day with the results. Feeling good, proud, happy, enjoying the process, having joy in the discovery of these positive creations and manifestations coming into your life, succeeding, accomplishing it, doing it, feeling the ultimate feeling of, I did it, I made it, I created it, I succeeded. That is the light and the happiness during this process. And the active manifestation part, it's happening now. It's here. It's completed. I am manifesting. I am creating. Using present tense, not past tense for creation. I have created. I have accomplished. My creation is happening in the here and the now. Using the I am to create in the present tense. Active manifestation for your creation. So thank you so much, and namaste.